Wow. Looky here. OBS completely changed their interface. They do these hot fixes, and this is the first time I've ever seen the skin change. So that's interesting. Not a big deal. Okay, so I have to confess, since the last video, I've kind of done a lot, and frankly, it's probably just as well. You would not have wanted to sit through what I've been doing, because this scene is kind of complex, because each of the characters, they all move, and they move at different times, and blah blah blah. So where are we at this moment is boom. Okay, so, and I haven't even started working with the background, but what I wanted to do is get the shadows done, and so hopefully this will be fairly brisk. What I'm going to do is I decided to have the presence of mind to put each of our characters in their own layer, so that, as you can see, this is Ninja 1's shadow layer, and I'm just knocking out these shadows like it's nobody's business, man. I'm just knocking them out. So, okay. So there's that. And I should be able to just copy this over to here. And then that will, of a necessity, reveal where some additional shadowing should be added, or some of the previous shadowing should be removed. And we'll do it one more time. Boom. And a little erase there. I would say something more like "gat" from, as my friends from Decatur would say. People in Indiana, they leave their THs out. They don't say that. They say like "at." Yeah, it's kind of like "at." Why do they do that? I don't know. But they do. They really do. It's an accent. It's our accent. Okay, well that's cool. So we got Ninja 1's shadows done just that quick. So okay, so this is Zen. I think it'd probably be prudent to turn Akari off completely, and let's go ahead and knock out Zen shadows. So I would say, since the light's coming from behind the ninja, frankly, I'm going to make this brush really big, because you know what? He's going to be mostly in shadow. And then maybe we'll just give a little bit here that ain't. Okay? So now with that, we'll turn this maybe about to there. And hit Control Insert. So we insert a key. And now what we need to do is pop this baby all the way down to here, and we'll just carry on from there. Now this looks like I didn't get that key in there, so this is so simple and so broad. I don't know, I'll just paint over it. I'll just paint into it, and that way that should be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a little bit of illumination here. So let's just bot back. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, and here, again, I'm just going to paint into it so that it creates a new key automatically. And then let's just shadow our boy, and then decide where we want to maybe let the light hold sway, as we might like to say. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that should still be in shadow. So let's just keep painting. Again, I'll come back and do some erasing here in a minute. But this way, we get all the keys in quite readily. And the whole thing is just a pretty crisp, quick process. That's it, folks. So now we can hit the erase button. So yeah, I know you're mad at me because I did actually kind of a lot of inking behind the scenes, but trust me, people, you would not have wanted to watch. There were a couple spots that where I had to really go back and rethink what I was doing, and I just, maybe that would be entertaining, but I'm just thinking the pace was so slow that you probably appreciate not being asked to sit through it. So, hope you don't mind, folks. Hope you don't mind, because you know I love you. You know I do. I do. Okay, that's it. So now we can do Akari. Boom. Let's go to her shadow layer. This one's going to be really fun. This is going to be the one that's going to take the most work because, hello? What's going on? Oh, eraser mode. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this. Do the same strategy I've been using. I've been employing, as you might say. And again, I'm going to make hers just slightly darker. And I'm going to let that hand go. If I'm going to do anything more with that hand, I'm going to do it in the Zen layer, because that's actually where the shadow is anyway. So now I got to hit Control Insert. It did insert a key. And so now what we need to do is just go in frame by frame and knock out Akari's shadows. Now she's going to be falling even more in shadow here since she's behind Zen. I actually like the way it's sort of automatically putting the shadows in the right place for me. Okay, cool. I think I like it. I think I like it. I think I like it. Oh, it's only rock and roll, but I like it, love it, yes I do. Okay, just keep going. Keep going, people, keep going. Okay, so now just for fun, I'm going to put just a little indicator here. Like she's just picking up. She's just picking up a little bit. Oh yeah, she's picking. She's picking. I like that. Okay. And this, yes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to hit the animate tool. And we're going to try to just make this work. Okay, so now what we should do, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is I want to just duplicate this twice. Okay, and then here we'll get back into normal painting. So this is going to actually all come together fairly quickly. You know, this is a good exercise. One of the challenges is kind of knowing how much detail to put in. So now what I'm going to do is just follow this down. Follow it down. And hopefully I won't mess it up. Boom, boom. I think that looks right. Pretty much. Put a little bit of a rotation on that one. Getting there, folks. We're getting there. Yep, now it's all just Akari drifting out of the shot. I really appreciate the way the free transform tool actually creates keys for you automatically, because that's really exactly what you would want to have happen. So, unbelievably, I may be done with my shadow work already. So let's hit the old, 680 megabytes, or 608 megabytes. Boom. I don't think we need an additional shadow layer, frankly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the sketch, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer, and we're going to move this all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so in this layer we're just going to have some fun because, oops, I'm going to just block this in, and we're going to establish the perspective like so, and then go ahead and turn the sketch layer back off. We don't need it. Alright, and now all we have to do is paint. So what are we going to paint? Well, first of all, out here, and we're just going to block this in really roughly, first of all. So this would be the background, and then we're going to rotate this around into the browns area. It's a little saturated, I would say, but that's okay. We can desaturate the whole thing sort of altogether. Now what I'm going to do, let's try something interesting here. Let's take our 3 character layers and hit the Control G and see if we can just totally group them. That way we can turn all the layers off as a group anytime we want. Alright, so now I'm just going to go back to my background, and we're just going to fill things in. Pell-mell, helter-skelter, absolutely as insane as we can be. And now what I want to do is I want to have some fun and really enjoy doing some painting here. So first thing I'm going to do is just establish that there is a light source. So okay, so this, obviously we shouldn't have quite so much of the black leaking on there. But again, I'm trying to just move fast here, and I think what I'm going to do now, let's just have some fun with this. Let's go to all, and let's find a brush that's fun. Okay? Let's find a brush that lets us have some woohoo fun. Okay, so we know our perspective is basically something of this nature, so let's just go ahead and give ourselves some floorboards, man. Let's have some floorboards happening. Alright, and then we'll add back in a little dark color like so. And now we're gonna go ahead and lock this back in. Now, what I want to do here is, actually I'm just going to add white, because the opacity is so low that I should be able to just go like this and create kind of a border edge. The idea being that the sun, or yeah, well, it's actually the moon is what it is kind of catching this glint. And by the way I'm doing it with this brush is sufficiently soft and mushy that in a way that's a good thing, because we want to suggest that the background's going to be slightly out of focus anyway. So now what I'm going to do is just catch that edge. Okay, so now what I think I'll do just for fun is, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I wanted to really do a free grab. Okay, that's really not quite going to work, is it? Let's do it this way. We can probably do a freehand grab here, and if I hit the shift key, yeah, that's probably okay. Is there a way to subtract from this? I do not know. I probably should turn on show mask layer. We'll address that later. But what I want to do here is simply, let's put our brush back on. Now let's sample this. And what I want to do is I want to go to the greens. I want to be fairly transparent. And because we are looking down now. So little more opacity, or well, actually, yeah, opacity in our brush. And I'm totally making this up as I go along, by the way. I'm just completely just throwing something in there that I kind of think might kind of sort of look cool. So now I'm going to do an adjustment, and because it is supposed to be nighttime, something like that, and maybe just a slight decrease in saturation, and Control-Shift-A. Not horrible, not horrible. Now let's make our brush really small. Let's sample this, go like this. Our opacity is still fairly low. So now what we should be able to do is, with some judicious painting, indicate where the wood grain in the floorboards will actually catch the the light that's coming in. Okay. Now we know whenever we've done these floorboards before, there's always a certain amount of irregularity and flaws in the floorboards. So let's just do that. Again, keep the opacity low so we can just catch these specular highlights. Boom, 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 like that. Boom, boom, boom. And frankly, that might be good enough. I'm going to put a second layer on top of it. And now let's go back to the Dave collection of brushes, and I'm going to put white here. And I'm going to just go like this so that I can then, come on baby, come on, just ease in a little bit of volumetric light. And then with that, I should be able to turn my characters back on. And now, this is going to be kind of important. Down here in the background, I need to go ahead and give ourselves some cast shadows, right? So let's, and you know what, let's just put it on a separate layer so we can make it black. Just kind of make things easy on ourselves. So I'll go like this. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple, Sherlock. And then ease that back in to anchor him to the floor. And then the question now becomes, do we want to do some color correction here? I'm thinking we should. In which case, what we'll do here, now this is important. All of my characters now are in the same group. So I'm going to call this group characters. Did I spell that right? I think so. And now what we can do is, let's just take a really dark color that's almost black, paint over this, and then let's just play around with blending modes. So let's do overlay. Overlay is not horrible. The only problem is, of course, this needs to be locked. Yes, overlay will not work. Probably multiply is what we want. Actually, I will tell you this. I like the saturating of it. This is one of those things that I should be careful here, because I do like it, but at the same time, you got to remember that that's not really the look we've been, having throughout the show. So I think that we want to be careful not to go in too strong of a direction here. But let's go ahead and do that, and then let's just play around with maybe kicking up the saturation a bit. Okay. Probably not horrible. The only thing that I'm objecting to at this point mainly would be here. I'm thinking that let's go ahead and use the airbrush. And let's turn the opacity way down. We want to go black. And because what I want to do here... Oh boy, this is going to be tricky. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. I just want to kind of establish that edge right there, because that edge is a thing. Darn it. So fortunately I can just go like this. And then I'll tell you the truth, this is where I don't know if... I'm pretty sure Krita has some like blur effects or something. Let's see, what is this? Adjust multiply. I'm looking for a brush that's actually a blur. Maybe this. Yep, blender blur. Okay, cool. So now it might be strong. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Hold on. Let's make it less opaque. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, that one's going in the favorites. Assign this to tag Dave. I've been looking for that and needing that brush, like, kind of frequently. I find myself needing that. So look at that, and we can add a little bit of blurring out of the shadows. That's cool, man. That's very cool. Okay, save that. Let's play it and see. Let's put it N, tab, hit the play button, and see what we've got. Okay. The saturation's not going to work. Unfortunately, I like the looks of it, but it's too much of a deviation from what we've been doing on this show. So I think I'm gonna force myself to kill this layer. And then all we want to do is add enough of a multiply to just dim out the saturation of our characters, so it still looks like they're in a dark-ish room. And by the way, I feel like maybe that should be slightly denser. Save that. Let's try it again. Let's go actual size and hit the play button. Okay, so at this point my complaint would be that we don't have enough shading variation in Akari's hair. So basically the deal is that these guys are lost in shadow, but we still need shadows. So that's fine. That's no big deal. What we'll do is we'll go here. This is the characters layer. And is this Akari? Yeah, that's Akari. So we would add... See, this is... The opacity is fixed for the whole layer. So this layer also needs to be locked alpha, and I'm going to put the opacity like about there. And we're just going to have to play with this. We're just going to have to play with it and see what we get. Okay. That's not too shabby. Don't know if it's quite what I'm looking for. I may stop the video and rethink this, and just... That's kind of why I skipped a bunch of the stuff that I did on the ink and paint, because there were just a lot of stops and starts where I was kind of thinking about, okay, how do I really want to do this? And what we need to do is definitely insert a key. And then what we will have to do, this is what makes this kind of tricky. Ah, shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. I meant to hit shift and I hit control accidentally. I want to keep this simple, is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to get too fancy with the shading. So here, gosh, I really think it would probably be wise to kind of do this sort of thing. And go back to my brush. You know, she's actually falling into shadow here a bit as she goes behind Zen. So I guess what I'm thinking is we just need that second layer of shadow to sell it, in my opinion. There's just not enough dimensionality in the art as it is. So maybe just having that second layer is all we need. Okay, why would we not? Oh, I see. We'll leave that because the only thing that changes there is her pigtail. So I want to put that completely in shadow though. Okay, so now going back here, I definitely want to simplify this. I got a little too artsy fartsy there, folks. Okay, so now this is interesting. Let's take this and let's, oops, I didn't mean to erase that. I meant to, I'm just going to color this all in. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think this is going to work pretty well. Now when he clocks her, she's just going to have the shadow that she falls behind. And actually the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blender. Okay, something weird just happened. Something weird just happened. Save. Yeah, that's not good. That's something Krita used to do all the time. The solution is play your video. Yeah. Okay, and actually, let me rethink that a little bit. What I want to do is go here, and then I want to duplicate this key, because from here on out, I want it to be softer, so that way, as she falls under it, it's kind of more natural, I guess you might say. So boom. Okay, so now the question is, do we need to do a bunch of touch-ups on Zen? I don't think so. See, I like the bold shading with Zen. I think that's working. It's just Akari wasn't working. I don't think we need a bunch more shadows on Zen. Yeah, okay, there's obviously a couple things there that are flawed for sure. Stop. Okay, so here yes, here we have a problem, because the previous key, the shadows are sharp, and then I destroyed that. So let's go back to this brush. We'll put it in eraser mode. Let's go ahead and erase some of that so I can see what I'm doing. And now I said, take it out of eraser mode. Okay, that's better. Okay, but now once it goes to this, I want to go ahead and let it be soft. So let's hit play so it caches the imagery. And then Right there we see the problem. So there's some stuff kind of here that doesn't belong. And now I think that's not like perfectly perfect, but it's pretty close. It's pretty good. Okay. So what if, okay, I'm going to make a bold move here, folks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Zen, and I'm going to add a layer to him. And I'm just going to sneak a little bit of a highlighty thing here. And I don't know if this is going to work. In fact, I'm actually thinking it probably won't, but I want to try it anyway. So because what I want to see is if the blur thing, you know, it's one of those things that, yeah, that's just not a great idea. That was a bad idea. It's the kind of thing you might play around with, but I think we're done. I think we're done. Unless you want to argue that there really should be, yeah, okay. One more thing. Let's go here and let's deal with this. See, Akari's hand is actually in the Zen layer. So let's go ahead and put a shadow in there. And maybe see if this works. Okay, if we're going to do that, then it needs to be fairly light. It needs to be just enough to sell it. And then because I'm having fun with my blur, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do the blur thing. The blur thing is a bad idea. Okay. So this is layer 24. I'm kind of guilty here of not labeling my shadow layers meticulously, but basically what we're going to do is once we get to here, we'll just hit insert so that we have a blank. Oh, we can't do that. We need to put it here. Okay, I'm going to hit escape because for some reason Krita caused me to lose my layer. Okay, so this layer needs to happen when Zen moves and we're no longer able to see her hand. So I think it probably belongs right there. Yes, that's fine. Do. I like it. Save, file, render animation. And what shot is this? I don't even know what shot this is. What I'm going to do is jump into my render folder. Boom, boom. You can't see this, and trust me, it's not very interesting. But I'm just looking at my MP4s to see what the last shot was. And it looks like it was 141, which I'm going to play. Yes, so this would be 140. I'm going to actually call this 141B. So this is going to go in the conversions folder. I'm going to call it 141. Actually, we'll call it 141 alternate because it's basically an alternate version of a prior shot. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, 160 frames. So this is going to take a while. I don't think I'm going to cut it into the show right now. I think since I've been going here for half an hour, I'm going to go ahead and kill this. And folks, you'll see how it cuts into the show probably on the next video, and then we'll go from there. Okie dokie. So there will be more later.